Click the bell icon to get latest videos from Ekeeda.
Hello friends, so after completing the problem number 1 on product and quotient of a complex number, let's move to the problem number 2. Just pay attention because this is a very important problem from exam point of view. So here P is given as cos theta plus I sin theta and Q is given as cos phi plus I sin phi, and we have to show that P plus Q into PQ minus 1 whole upon P minus Q into PQ plus 1 is equal to sin theta plus sin phi upon sin theta minus sin phi. Now guys, if you observe, then P and Q both are complex number, and in the result, in the question, the left hand side is a combination of P and Q, whereas in the right hand side we have only sign terms. Now the question is how to get only sign terms from the complex number, because on the left hand side we'll do few operations on P and Q since it is given, and from that we have to prove the answer is only sign terms. So guys, let's start with the left hand side. Now to get the answer as sin theta plus sin phi whole upon sin theta minus sin phi, what we'll do is we will first of all simplify this left hand side. Now guys, I'm not substituting the value of P and Q directly in the result. The reason is, you can observe that here we have a term PQ. So when we multiply two complex numbers which are in polar form, then that will give us more number of terms, and then it will be very difficult to eliminate cos term from that. So what we'll do is we'll first simplify this given two results, and then we'll decide what to substitute. So we'll multiply the second bracket with P, we'll get, then we'll multiply the second bracket with Q, so we'll get PQ square minus Q upon, now we'll multiply the second bracket with P, so we'll get P square Q plus P, and then we'll multiply with Q, so we'll get negative PQ square minus Q. Now guys, here what we can do is, since we want this sign terms, so we know one thing, that whenever we subtract two complex numbers which are conjugate of each other, that time we can get the sign term. Now to understand that, we'll take this complex number and then we'll subtract the conjugate of that complex number from P. Now guys, conjugate of this number will be given by 1 upon P, which is cos theta minus I sin theta. Now if I subtract this 1 upon P from P, this cos and cos will be cancelled and we will get 2I sin theta. So guys, you can see here, when we subtract the conjugate from the complex number, we get sign term. So here, since we want sign terms in the numerator and denominator, we will try to bring the complex number and the subtraction of the conjugate of a complex number in the numerator as well as in the denominator. So for that, I'll divide this numerator and denominator with PQ. So by doing that, we can get the arrangement like P minus 1 upon P or Q minus 1 upon Q. So if I divide this numerator and denominator by PQ, we will get P square Q upon PQ as P minus P upon PQ, that is 1 upon Q, plus PQ square upon PQ is just Q, minus Q upon PQ is 1 upon P. Again, p square q upon pq is p. P upon pq is 1 by q. Then pq square upon pq is q. And q upon pq is 1 upon p. Now guys, we'll rearrange the terms. So here we'll get p minus 1 by p, and from here plus q minus 1 upon q. Similarly here we'll get p minus 1 by p. From these two terms I'll take negative sign outside, so q will become positive and this 1 upon q will become negative. Now guys, you can see here I've brought the terms like p minus 1 by p, q minus 1 by q. It means we are subtracting the conjugate from the complex number, and that is why we'll get all sine terms over here. So p minus 1 upon p is 2i sine theta, which we have just derived 2 minutes before. You can see it here. P minus 1 by p is equal to 2i sine theta. Similarly, if we find q minus 1 upon q, it will be 2i sine phi, because the value of q is given as cos phi plus I sine phi. You can see here, this is the value of q. So it means we got the value for p minus 1 by p, q minus 1 by q. Now let's substitute those values over here. So therefore, left hand side is equal to, so p minus 1 upon p, that will become 2i sine theta, plus q minus 1 upon q, which is 2i sine phi. Similarly, p minus 1 upon p will be 2i sine theta. Now middle sign is negative, and q minus 1 upon q is 2i sine phi. And guys, if we take 2i common in numerator and denominator, we can cancel it, and we can get value as sine theta plus sine phi upon sine theta minus sine phi. And guys, this is what the expected answer. So here we have derived the result, and I'm sure you understood the explanation. So guys, whenever such type of question comes in the exam, you have to take the conjugate and subtract it from the complex number. So keep watching the videos, and don't forget to share this video with your friends, because then only they can understand this type of explanation. Thank you very much.